And one. Ladies and gentlemen, the CTDF Fantasy Football Show is on the air once again. And it's a kind of a bittersweet show because this is our final show of the season. And I got to tell you what a season it has been. I didn't think of doing the show on this particular platform in the beginning. We tried something different, but somehow a piece of my software didn't work, so we tried it a different way. Then we decided to do it from here, and I think it's worked out better here than anywhere else. But anyway, so glad that you could join us for our final show of the season. Of course, I'm Tim McClellan, joined by my good friends John Flynn, Cedric Weatherspoon Jr., and our esteemed league commissioner, the man who kind of helped make all this possible, Mr. John Natale. Gentlemen, hello. What do you say, guys?
It's been a great season.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. And I was kind of hoping Will Medina would show up, our two-time league champion. I guess he
doesn't want to get roasted.
Well, I thought Nelson Ezra was always the one that got roasted.
Wait, Nelson got roasted first before before the 49ers did.
Yeah.
And speaking of which, does anybody know if he has gotten his 49ers jersey yet? I mean,
I doubt it.
That salty, you know what? Ain't got it. You
know. Yeah. But then, of course, the 49ers fell short. But why don't we go ahead and get into that right now, gentlemen, this past Sunday. Super Bowl 54, Hard Rock Stadium, Miami, Florida. And what can you say about the Chiefs? I mean, it's just like it seemed like everybody said back in 2013 when he was let go as the head coach of the Philadelphia Eagles, there were seven teams lined up to get him, and the Kansas City Chiefs were just the team that got him. And he changed things up a bit, and he finally put all of his he shut all those critics up. Everyone said he could not win the big game. He couldn't really make a huge game. Came up short in that Super Bowl one year. Came short in NFC Championship games, some other playoff games, but finally, Mr. Andy Reid finally quieted his critics. I gotta hand it to you. I mean, Andy Reid is one of the smartest coaches in the league, and if I'm not mistaken, he held the record for coaching most years without winning a Super Bowl. I think it was 21 years, right?
Yeah, and also the most wins between regular and postseason for a coach without a Super Bowl until this past Sunday.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, why don't we go ahead and talk about this one? It was 31-20, right? The final score. Yeah, final score. Let me go ahead and see if I can get the page up here on my laptop. Just do a little recap on all that. What stood out for you guys?
So I think the game planning of Andy Reid and Eric Bieniemy worked out to perfection, and I think you saw this in the first half, and the Chiefs knew that San Francisco was won games throughout the regular and the postseason by winning the time and possession battle. What do I mean by that? Having the run game, sustaining drives on 3rd and 4th down, and continuing to punish the other team for not getting off the field and the third and fourth down conversions led directly to Kansas City's first 17 points. And then when the 49ers went three and out before, right after Kansas City scored the touchdown to get within 3, so they used the magic of Patrick Mahomes and Sammy Watkins for to go down and take the lead, and the 49ers defense was weakened as a result of it.
Yeah, very have to agree with that. Just taking a look at some numbers here from the games. Talk about Mahomes. He went 26 of 42, 286 yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. He was sacked 4 times for a total loss of 18 yards and had an interesting quarterback rating of 61.6.
And you also got to factor in the rushing touchdown in the first quarter.
Oh yes, he had a rushing touchdown. Yes, he did. Where is he? Yeah, that one rushing touchdown. He carried the ball 9 times for 29 yards with that 1 touchdown. That I think it was that 13-yarder that he scored.
So what it was? So Kansas City went for it on 4th and 1 inside the 49er 5-yard line. They converted that, and then a couple of plays later, Mahomes ran it. Took it for himself into the end zone.
Yeah, got that. Cedric, what stood out for you, bud?
I can say the following few things happened. 4. Number 1, Andy Reid finally got himself a Super Bowl ring. It took the man years. Not as long as the Chiefs to get back to the big dance, 50 years, but they got it. Number 2, Pat Mahomes did not get hit with that Madden curse. Those that know about the Madden games, whoever's on the cover.
Yes.
I'm guessing AB's still getting it from all the stuff he's doing. So Pat Mahomes taking out. Number 3, this is the 3rd time Kyle Shanahan was a part of an organization that blew a lead, and that team lost.
Man.
You know, infamous with the Falcons and Patriots. You already know that one.
Yep.
Out San Francisco. 3rd one, got to look into the history books for that. 4th and finally, I saw an impressive game, and unfortunately, I wanted both teams to win, but unfortunately, San Francisco, they could have won had George Kittle not got hit with that pass interference call. That could have changed the game had he kept going.
That was complete garbage right there. And do you remember that non-PI call at the end of the Minnesota New Orleans playoff game that wasn't called? That's so the same type of contact happened. Yet they called that, but not that. Does the NFL have a narrative logic here? Because apparently,
no, it's just speak it with me. Those refs need to go back to Foot Locker. That's all you need to know.
I think I would have to say that sometime during this off season, all these referees are probably going to have to be retrained on anything and everything. I mean, they started calling games as if they were replacement refs.
Yes.
And we all remember what happened that time.
Oh God.
Natalie, what stood out for you in this game?
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's really not too much I could say about it, as I unfortunately had to miss it because of work, but I did watch the highlights. It seemed like an all-around physical game. I kind of had a feeling the Chiefs were going to win from the start because they had the more all-around team. They had the players. They had more experienced players like Tyreek Hill and Pat Mahomes. Like they seemed more complete, more physical. But kind of like what the guy said, a lot of bad calls could have affected the outcome. But at the end of the day, defense wins games. The Chiefs had the better defense. That gave them the edge for me.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, you can't put so much blame on the refs. We win as a team. You lose as a team.
Right. Yeah, that is true. Looking on the other side of the board here, Jimmy Garoppolo, 20 of 31, 219 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions, and he was only sacked once by that Chiefs defense. Only one sack for 19 yards with a QBR of 40.6. So between both quarterbacks, not really the flashiest numbers for a quarterback rating, but hey, at least Mahomes got the job done. Garoppolo is great in defeat. This kid Raheem Mostert, I can see greatness with this guy. I mean, this guy has really impressed me, and of course, George Kittle. I mean, I would definitely put him in my top 3 tight ends in the NFL right now.
Yep.
I would put him in. I'd probably put him in there with Travis Kelce.
I'll say yep for sure. And
Travis Kelce, George Kittle,
Zach Ertz
Zach Ertz
of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I hadn't thought of him, but yeah, he definitely does make a statement for being one of the best tight ends in the league
I would
right
give
now.
I would give an honorable mention. I think he's a rookie, Darren Waller
of the Oakland Raiders.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard some good things about that kid too. So, what a game. What did y'all think about the halftime show, or did anybody watch it?
I saw it on YouTube.
I watched it. It was absolutely tremendous because you have Jennifer Lopez, you have Shakira, and so a couple of the songs that Shakira sang, I knew pretty well. So I was singing along to that.
And how about J-Lo's daughter at the end?
And how about Avod with the videos he made of the fans singing along as well? That was absolutely tremendous.
Well, I'll probably have to check it out. I didn't really watch the halftime show. And I still think Kiss probably would have been a better show.
Yeah,
But
they
well.
definitely have to go back to the rock band thing.
But I think since they went to the pop star thing about 10 years ago, I think this is the best halftime show I've seen in about 10 years.
Yeah, as far as pop goes, definitely.
Basically.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But I know because I want to backtrack here, but I think the one curious thing that really struck me was Kyle Shanahan's in-game management toward the end of the first half. So the 49ers and Chiefs were tied at 10. San Francisco just scored a touchdown. Then Kansas City went on the drive. They picked up a couple of first downs, and they were stopped on 3rd and 14. So the 49ers had 3 timeouts left and a minute 30 on the clock. But Kyle Shanahan decided not to use the timeout and gave that 49er offense less time to go out into the field. So the question is 90 seconds and 2 timeouts or 60 seconds and 3 timeouts.
Yeah.
What do you guys have preferred if you from a 49er standpoint?
90 seconds, 2 timeouts, or
Yeah,
60
yeah.
seconds.
I mean, if you have that timeout in your pocket, just use it.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 timeouts in 60 seconds. Because you got the extra timeout. You're gonna get 3 more regardless next half.
Yeah.
It's too easy.
Exactly.
Yeah, and isn't it so ironic that we were talking about Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy Garoppolo and Garoppolo making the big throws when he needed to in big spots. Because we saw in the game against New Orleans, we saw it in the game against the Rams at the toward the end of the season, but. But it's the Super Bowl. You need to show the other team everything you got, and Kyle Shanahan didn't trust Jimmy Garoppolo apparently, and I have issue with that.
Yeah, there's 2 reasons why. Number 1, Kyle Shanahan, he screwed the pooch with Jimmy G. And I was thinking maybe San Francisco might pull off a comeback, but that pick with less than 2 minutes to go that Jimmy G threw. And Kyle Shanahan, you did not redeem yourself from Super Bowl 51. You blew it again. You blew it.
But I don't get how the media is bashing Jimmy Garoppolo when he didn't get a chance to make a big throw in that spot in the first half. But the bottom line was San Francisco had to score another time before going into the half, and they didn't. We saw that and that because of that they couldn't go up 3 possessions in the fourth quarter. Because they were too conservative at the end of the first half.
And that's what killed them.
Yeah.
And
And the aggressive conservativeness is why Doug Peterson has a ring and Kyle Shanahan doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I kind of scratched my head about that decision, or in this case, the indecision that he made on that one. So,
I mean, who did Kyle Shanahan think he was? Matt Nagy
or Jason Garrett,
or Freddie Kitchens?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
that's a carousel of cups right there. Jesus.
yeah. Well, anyway, I'm hearing reports, according to Las Vegas bookkeepers and all those people out there. I think I hear them saying that we may have a Super Bowl rematch next year. They can see Kansas City and San Francisco in next year's Super Bowl.
It's that both teams are on my short list of teams that can go to the Super Bowl. I think Dallas is in the mix. I think Green Bay, to a degree, is in the mix. I think Baltimore is in the mix as well. So that now that's my short list. We'll have to see what happens in free agency, where the different quarterbacks go, where Brady goes, whether it's LA, Oakland, or a dark horse city like Tennessee. But we definitely want to see where Brady lands.
Yeah. Speaking of teams that could make a Super Bowl run, I'd keep my eye on Buffalo.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
They just gotta get Josh Allen up to speed.
yeah.
He's got it. They just gotta count him out.
But I mean, it was, to be fair, it was his first playoff game, and
Yeah.
they do have Sean McDermott, who got a couple of votes in for Coach of the Year, but obviously that went over to John Harbaugh of Baltimore. But Sean McDermott is the guy that could lead Buffalo to a place where they haven't been in 25 years or so, the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the defense is on point. The offense,
Yeah.
they're getting better.
Yeah.
Just this experience Josh Allen had this year, hopefully it would counteract something for another playoff run. And for the love of all that's pure and holy, please don't let them get the Atlanta virus. Please. Of blowing leads. That's all I begged for because it was painful. Y'all up 16-0. It was painful to watch. The Texans dismantle them. And Deshaun Watson pulled off a miracle out of his,
Yeah. So, where do you guys think Tom Brady should go?
I don't think he should go anywhere. I think he should just retire. He has nothing else to prove.
He's 42 years old, about to be 43. Where else are you going to go?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But Tom Brady said he's playing until he's 45, so he's going to play next season.
Yeah.
He's going to Brett Favre.
Mhm.
Oh, Lord, no. It's either he's staying in Patriots territory, which is likely not to happen, but that money, I don't know.
But if I was Tom Brady, I would absolutely consider the Tennessee Titans. Because you have Mike Vrabel as the head coach, and they know each other well from New England. You have a better offensive line, which has been tremendous. You'll have Derrick Henry, and I'll assume they'll probably franchise tag on him. And then you can argue the wide receivers, they have more flexibility in terms of adding at that position more than the Patriots do.
Yep.
If he goes to the Tennessee Titans, oh God, the necromancy trifecta.
I wouldn't be surprised if Tennessee is on my short list of teams that can go to the Super Bowl next year either.
Yeah, they probably will because let's see, they resurrected Brian Tannehill's career, 9-7.
Yeah.
Derrick Henry.
Yeah, and I told everybody preseason that Mike Vrabel is can flat out coach, and we saw the results of that with Tennessee playing all the way up till championship Sunday.
Yeah, that all sounds very interesting to me. I was speaking about this with Flynn before we went on the air. I was just wanting to get Natalie and Cedric's opinion. I've been hearing things about looks like Dak Prescott looks like they'll probably give him the franchise tag. So and they're probably saying or let go of Dak Prescott and bring Tom Brady to Dallas. Yes, Cedric. That was my reaction. That was my reaction when I first saw that. I was just like that too. I was like, really? I mean,
Dude,
it's like Flynn says. Tom Brady really doesn't have any more to prove. He is a first ballot Hall of Famer, greatest quarterback of all time. I'd say just go out, but of course, an athlete always wants to go out on his own terms. So
yeah.
we'll just have to wait and see what happens.
I mean, he also got a lot of rings too. How much more you want? How much more, Brady? Okay.
Yeah. Well, well, what else is going on in the league this week? The Chiefs had their big parade this past Wednesday. It's up on YouTube, and I can give y'all the link after the show. I'll post the link on our chat and on the Facebook page, so y'all can check that out. Yeah, it's about 3.5 hours. They're about 3.5 hours long, but I'll tell you.
Did you see what happened before the parade? Where this crook decided to drive on the parade route when clearly their path was closed.
Oh, someone would have had to grow a brain, huh?
They are really dumb, for real. That's just dumb. Help them, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, it's about 3.5 hours long. I'll put it up on Facebook, put it up on the CTDF chat, and yeah, y'all be able to enjoy it. And now one league has ended its 100th year, while another league is coming back for only its second year, but it's the first year in over a decade.
Yep.
I mean, almost 2 decades now. We got the XFL back.
Yep.
And it starts this weekend. And I'll be watching my Dallas Renegades, head coached by former Oklahoma coach Bob Stoops, and their star quarterback Landry Jones. If y'all remember that name.
Yep.
It'll be interesting because they'll be starting their first game is this Sunday against the St. Louis Battlehawks. So I don't know if I can make any predictions because this Sunday will be the first time I've seen this team, and but I'll be interested to see if this XFL can be a whole lot better than the last one.
Yeah, I think it has potential.
They got years. They got years to perfect this. They had years. Hopefully, the rules are a little bit more understandable. The refs are better. And not too many gimmicks. More of just straight.
Yeah, but maybe something y'all can help me out with. I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember the first XFL that came around. I'm trying to figure out what went wrong there. I mean, why did that only last one season?
Yeah, but I think my biggest problem was the way they determined the field position. They had to scramble. I thought that was a terrible idea.
That's what killed it.
the scramble for the ball to see who would get the ball first. So there was
Yeah,
no
I think they had two
nope.
people like running and had to race for the ball and had to like wrestle each other, like that type of thing.
Yeah, so it's kind of like wrestling mixed with football. That's what kind of killed him.
Mhm.
Yeah, so yeah, but old Vince McMahon, he still has the ownership of this XFL, but it makes it sound a little better. And I understand that the commissioner of the XFL is Oliver Luck, who just happens to be the father of Indianapolis Colts quarterback Andrew Luck. So, like I said, this will be very interesting to see what happens with this new XFL, which starts in
Saturday.
this Saturday, just a couple days away. And
Mhm.
I understand Fox, along with FS1, I think, and ABC and ESPN, I think they have rights to the XFL games. So check your local listings out there. And XFL is coming back, and
Yeah, I believe it's a 10-week season, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, I think it's a 10-week regular season. Their championship game is, I think, late April.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's gonna be the time of the NFL draft.
Yeah,
exactly, the NFL draft will be this April as well. Yeah, first, of course, that big Thursday night, the first night, round number 1. That's the show that every football fan watches. And where used to every New York Jets fan would boo their first round draft pick, but that hasn't happened in the last couple of years.
It's and like every year I watch the first round in its entirety from when the number 1 pick goes to the number 32 pick, and seeing all these players that go out on the stage to meet Commissioner Goodell and receive their jerseys and their caps. And it's funny because they're doing the draft in Vegas this spring, and what they're going to do is that they're going to bring the players out from a designated area to the stage via a boat.
Really?
Yeah, that's what I saw.
I thought they'd bring him out of the casinos.
Yeah.
I don't know, but it'll be to see what happens. Looks like the consensus, of course, is Joe Burrow from LSU will be heading to the jungle in Cincinnati. Hopefully they can turn that ship around, but can anyone turn around Cleveland? I don't know.
And I don't think so, especially since they hired somebody like Kevin Stefanski instead of a guy like Robert Saleh or Eric Bieniemy, and both Robert Saleh and Eric Bieniemy were wise to turn down the Browns head coaching position because they'd have no idea how rudderless, clueless, and how much of an unmitigated disaster that franchise is.
I'll say this. That franchise is the epitome. You want to know what pure chronic depression is? I want you to look at the Cleveland Brown organization.
Uh-huh.
For a certain YouTuber, he hit the nail on the head. There will always be a factory of sadness, no matter what they do, no matter where they go. Factory of sadness. You think you get a good season? Gotcha, bitch. Nope. That's all I can say.
Oh boy. I wonder if you're talking about that one YouTuber that got fired from his job because he had to go see that one game with his Eagles. And they. Oh, you're not talking about him.
Try again. Number 1 tree. Think about it.
Must be someone I don't know.
you end up in the bathroom and you got a tree by you, what you doing?
What's that?
No, the YouTuber's name is Urinating Tree. That's the YouTuber.
Okay. Okay,
Someone,
that's someone that I'm not familiar with. I'll have to check them out.
there you go.
Yeah. But anyway, and what about the Alabama quarterback? I can only pronounce his first name, but I cannot pronounce his last name.
His last name is pronounced Tagovailoa.
Tagovailoa. Tua Tagovailoa. Okay.
Yeah.
I think many places say that he's going to be taken fifth.
Mm-hmm. It's but another thing is let's say so we know that Joe Burrow is going to go number 1 to Cincinnati. We know Chase Young is going to go number 2 to the Washington Redskins. The Lions and the Giants have the 3rd and 4th picks, and neither one of them really need a quarterback immediately. So I'd expect a lot of teams that'll be trying to call up to those teams and try to trade with them. And I think I think that there are teams like the Chargers, if they don't sign for either Brady or Rivers, I think the Chargers would be pressed to trade up to number 3 or number 4. I think you could see other teams on the list. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the 2020 NFL draft order, because there are certain teams that could use a quarterback in the future, like Justin Herbert or Tua Tagovailoa. But let's say if Brady doesn't sign with neither Rivers or Brady sign with the Raiders, do the Raiders trade up to get number 3 or number 4? Because the Raiders have the 12th pick and the 19th pick, so they could easily trade up to get their franchise quarterback of the future if they decide to part ways with Derek Carr. You got and other teams that you consider moving up the spot. The Chargers at 6. Maybe there's a chance that neither Tua or Herbert are available at 6, and maybe they trade up. And maybe what about the Atlanta Falcons if they try to find Matt Ryan's successor in Atlanta? Maybe. Denver at 15, I don't know, because I think Drew Lock is going to be a solid quarterback, but we're going to see what type of draft, what type of how the draft stock goes up or down. But I think if you're the Lions or the Giants, I think you're in a great spot to trade down.
Interesting food for thought right there.
Yeah. Or maybe if the Giants stay at 4 and maybe draft someone like someone either on the offensive line or defensive line, maybe Jedrick Willis of Alabama, the offensive line, or maybe Isaiah Simmons of Clemson to boost their linebacker core, which is already pretty young, and I think there's some potential with the Giants linebackers. I thought Ryan Connolly made a huge impact before he tore his ACL, so you have. So you have a good group of linebackers that can fit well in Patrick Graham's defense.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, interesting. Is there up there? What else is there? I saw something earlier today that the Philadelphia Eagles might try to do something to lure Amari Cooper away from Dallas.
That's not going to happen.
Any thoughts?
That's not going to happen.
But I think the mistake, because back during training camp, I said the Cowboys made a mistake paying Zeke Elliott this year. So that I thought they paid him a year or two early because you have Amari Cooper, you have Dak Prescott, now the chances are that you probably would only be able to keep one of them, and I would definitely franchise tag the quarterback because it's more important, and try to create some payroll flexibility, maybe have other players take pay cuts in order for the Cowboys to sign Amari Cooper.
Yeah, because right now, I don't. I mean, don't get me wrong. Michael Gallup is a great receiver, but he's still kind of young, and I don't know how much longer Randall Cobb wants to stay in Dallas. Uh, got that one other receiver. I can't remember his name, but he kind of.
Cole Beasley?
No,
No.
Cole Beasley's with
Yeah, that's
Buffalo.
Oh, right.
Yeah, Beasley's with Buffalo. Yeah, and he single-handedly torched the Cowboys on Thanksgiving Day.
Because the Cowboys had no idea to defend him. That's why.
Right. So, well, guess the only other question I have right now is now that the NFL season is over, we're going to have XFL starting up this weekend. NASCAR's back in a couple of weeks with the Daytona 500.
Mm-hmm.
Baseball season's coming up again. I think, Natalie, don't you run a fantasy baseball as well?
No, I tried it. No, I played in one with my friend Alex, but I never did one. Mark Leota tried one for the first year, but it backfired. He hasn't done one since.
Yeah.
But before he came to the call, Flynn talked to me briefly about him possibly wanting to do one.
Yeah, and we'll see what how we can get some traction on that because the two sports I take most seriously in terms of fantasy sports are fantasy football and fantasy baseball.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I did play fantasy baseball a couple of years for about a couple of years. This is about 10 years ago, but kind of phased my way out of that, and then all of a sudden.
Yeah, I believe I did one with you. I believe we were in one together a couple years back.
I think it was a while back. I think it was wasn't it on Yahoo?
Might have been 2 or 3 years ago.
Might have been. Okay.
I forget if you were. I forgot if you were the commissioner or somebody else was. I can't recall. But I know we were in one together.
Okay. I'll probably have to check the fantasy records on that. And it was like a while back that Yahoo decided to discontinue fantasy NASCAR, which I was kind of getting into that. Then they stopped doing that, so it looks like we got different sports coming up. Of course, the NHL and the NBA is going to be in their second half seasons.
And the trade deadline just passed in the NBA earlier today.
Right. And we also got we got the scouting combine for the NFL coming up. I think it's late this month or early next month.
Yeah, it's February 23rd to March 2nd.
Yep.
February 23rd to March 2nd. And of course, NFL Network will have that covered, all the bases there. Be interesting to see what my teams, Cowboys and the Chiefs, what they'll be kind of looking for and what everybody else will be looking for. So, so we don't have too long to wait until we got some more action coming up in the league, although it's going to be kind of off-season stuff. So I don't have that much more to talk about unless y'all guys want to say anything. First of all, the reason that I wanted John Natale here, season finale. Once again, John, you did a great job of getting this fantasy league together.
Thank you.
Like I said, this was third year, right? Third year we did this.
I believe it's the third year, yes.
Third year. Can we do number 4?
Absolutely.
There you said it. You heard it from the commission's mouth right there. We're going to do it again for another season. And I decided, hey, we'll have another season of the CTDF Fantasy Football Show.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe if we can talk to a couple of people, maybe expanding our roster a little bit, because I think we had, 10 or 12?
I think
12.
12. I think 12 should be the max, guys. I think
Mhm.
12.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, 12 or 16 don't matter to me, but I guess
16 is ridiculous, Tim.
Yeah.
That's not that many people you can pick after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Next season, I'm considering moving it to NFL fantasy, but I haven't decided yet. Instead of ESPN's section, I might.
ESPN is perfect for this. That you
okay.
Yeah, I've always used ESPN. I was thinking about changing it up, but I haven't decided yet.
Mhm.
That sounds good. That sounds good. And I guess we know who's going to be drafting first next season.
Yeah. Welcome to number 1, Tim.
Yeah.
Yeah, with my, what was it, 2 and 12 that I finished?
So hold on, let me pull it up because I just happen to be on the ESPN fantasy
Yeah.
right now.
And if Andrew St. Clair joins again, he's number 2 because technically he beat you in the battle of the losers bracket.
Yeah, and I would be number 11.
Yeah.
Yeah, just so
Yeah, I'm 10th. Adam is 9th. So I have to figure out 3 through 8. I have to do some math and stuff like that.
so Tim was 2 and 11. There was a 4-way tie for 8th between Andrew, Connor, Spencer, and Mark. Marty finished in 7th because he lost that matchup with Nels in week 13 in that winner take all for the playoff spot. Erica finished 6th. Nels finished in 5th. Adam, Natalie, me, and then Will beat me in the fantasy final.
Yeah. Well, I'm putting Andrew to draft second because he beat Tim in the final game.
Yeah.
I'm just basing on overall like who beat who, that type of thing.
Yeah.
I gotta do some like funny breakdowns. Figure it out.
But it was brutal. Brutal for you, Tim, this season.
It was terrible. It was horrifying. It was I felt exactly like my Cowboys did back in 1989. Yeah.
Just
It was
straight-
that
I
bad.
think oddly enough, I think both of those wins were when your opponents didn't do anything.
Ooh.
That's probably right, when they probably forgot they're changing their
Yeah.
rosters or something like that.
I think because I think one of those weeks you beat Nels, and then Nels went on to win out and move on to the playoffs.
I cannot say enough how much Nels improved in the second half of the season. Starting 0-5 and then finished 7-6.
That was impressive.
That's amazing. That was an amazing run by our good friend Neil Snowsrud. I mean, I still can't get over it.
Kind of like the Colts when they had Andrew Luck before he retired.
Yeah. Well,
and it was a good thing that you scheduled the draft. It was 5 days after Andrew Luck retired, so that was.
It's kind of interesting how that worked out.
Mhm.
Because I didn't even know that until I heard that Andrew Luck retired, and I'm like, well, how about that?
Yeah, I generally wait until the preseason passes anyway, because just in case of injuries, trades, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Like I refuse to do it week 1 of the preseason.
I would do it like around that last week of the preseason. Get this. When Tim beat Nels, he started. It was week 8, so it was the week after week Drew Brees came back from the injury. Nels started Teddy Bridgewater, and he picked up nothing. Chris Thompson picked up nothing, and then and Drew Brees gave him 53 points.
Yeah.
And then in the next one, he beat Mark in week 12. And then I'll pull up that what went wrong with Mark. So the Jaguars, even though no, the thing was, even though the Jags defense gave Tim -2, Mark didn't have any starters for his wide receivers. The wide receiver 1 and the wide receiver 2 positions were empty, so that was Tim's other win.
Jeez. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty bad. When you ain't got nobody to fill those spots in there. Yeah,
Maybe.
well,
I mean, he couldn't start Keenan Allen or Sammy Watkins because both were on their bye week at the same time.
yeah.
And yeah.
Well, I guess if nobody has anything else, we could go ahead and put a bow on this great 2019 season here.
Yeah. Well, I just want to say thank you to everybody for joining me for the season. It's been fantastic.
If you need more people for your fantasy league, I'll join if needed.
Yeah, I think I'll probably take I'll probably take Connor out of there. Probably put you in if you want to join next season.
Fair enough.
Yeah,
Mhm.
well, John will keep us there. He'll keep us all up to date during the off season.
Mm-hmm.
See about what's going to be done and all that. But of course, we want to remind everybody, our good friend John Flynn with his show Hooked on Sports, which is on Spotify and now also on Apple Podcasts. Is that
Yeah.
right?
It's always been that way, Tim.
Always been Spotify, Apple Podcasts. What do you got for us this time?
So we have an absolutely tremendous interview with this lady from Wichita State. Her name is Aaliyah Funchell. She is a huge Kansas City Chiefs fan, so she revels in on the roller coaster of emotions that she went through during Super Bowl 54. She talks about Wichita State. She talks about where she thinks the team is headed because she covers the Wichita State men's basketball team, and that they're doing really well, even though they lost on an N1 foul at the end of Cincinnati tonight. But she provides tremendous insight. She talks about what she tells other people concerning the women's role in sports, and I actually dropped the podcast on National Girls and Women in Sports Day, which was yesterday. So she has tremendous insight, and I highly recommend listening to her wisdom.
All right. We're all going to be sure to be listening to that.
Yeah.
Hooked on Sports, John Flynn,
Yeah.
Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Y'all
Yeah.
check it out. So, as we bring this season to a close, 100 years of the NFL, 50 years between the times that the Chiefs won the Super Bowl,
Mm-hmm.
and hopefully, I think the three biggest things are hopefully they'll have a halftime show at next year's Super Bowl that I will be interested in. Number two, hopefully these referees will get their butts in gear and get their acts together.
Yeah. And there's definitely going to be some rule changes next year. Do you remember in the wild card game where Mike Vrabel ran the clock down on a punt on 4th down where they took a minute and a half off. There's a really good bet that rule's going to be changed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what they might change too. I think something similar. Remember that game where I forgot who was involved the Patriots. I forget who they're playing that day, but the opponent's coach trolled Bill Belichick and ran the clock down on purpose.
So
took penalties.
That was the Tennessee game.
Oh, okay.
It was that game, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
They might change that up, but I think they're going to do that.
Definitely, that was what I was alluding to.
Oh, okay.
So it's obvious that Commissioner Goodell has a lot on his plate during the off season, and hopefully there will be some changes for the good. But I'm not really going to hold my breath for much. But anyway, that's going to do it for our season. It was wonderful. And as John Natale said, we're going to do this again next year. We'll have John Natale back. Special shout out to our two-time champion, Will Medina. Couldn't be with us tonight, but Will, we love you, man. You got a championship to defend again next year. So be looking forward to that. Cedric Weatherspoon, it was great having you with me, my friend.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, the great John Flynn, one of my favorite sports insiders. Thank you, sir, for joining me.
Thank you.
And thank all of you for joining us. We will be back next year, probably around maybe first week of August, right around Hall of Fame time.
But didn't we start the season with the draft with our fantasy draft?
Actually, we did, and I remember that as if it was yesterday. Probably
because they was both of my leagues drafted the same night. So it was 8 o'clock your time where our league drafts got started, and then it was 9 o'clock your time that my other draft got started, and somehow I was able to juggle both of them together and made it to the finals of both of my leagues.
Well.
and I also love and I also really like the PPR setting, which I had no idea this was a PPR league until after I drafted.
Yeah, well, that's going to do it, guys. Thanks for joining me. We'll be back next year. And so, as of this time, the season is over.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs are the champs.
Yep.
And the Bengals are on the clock. For John Flynn, Cedric Weatherspoon, John Natale, and every single person who has been a part of this show, my name is Tim McClellan. Thank you so much for joining us, everyone. We'll see you in August. And then remember, as always, be a good sport. See ya.